Plur, man, you have a fucking machete, man. Are you going hunting or what, man?
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. I saw that Electric Daisy Carnival TA right there, and I figured the only way to cut it down is with this machete right here.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, another interesting thing. It's Memorial Weekend. A lot of folks have people travel, families get together. It's all about remembrance. For
Excellent.
me, it's also about cleaning my yard. I'm in California, and it's been raining a lot this year. And the thing that's interesting about California is it's very desert-like terrain, and there's a lot of rattlesnakes, like in my front and backyard. So as I'm pulling weeds with my hands, I have to keep this machete near me because a couple of times
Snakes?
I've had to cut off a couple rattlesnake heads. Believe it or
Yeah.
not.
Holy shit. Rattlesnakes, man. They'll fuck you up, man.
Yeah, even when they're dead. Don't touch
Yeah.
them. Yeah, you gotta bury that
You have
shit.
you have to, when you cut their head off, man, they're still alive. They still have venom in their teeth and shit.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
fuck.
Yeah, I'll put this down so I don't scare the good people at home.
Right on. Right on. We feel protected at the PP sub, man. We got Plur protecting us with a machete tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Only for good, not for evil.
Right on. Right on. So you have some DD for us tonight. Is that right?
Yeah. By the way, I'm not using my little headphones. Do I sound more clear tonight? Or yes?
Yeah.
No?
You sound great. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I think I might go this route more because remember, people in the past with those headphones, there'd always be this weird delay. I know you copy even mentioned in the past, like when folks use headphones, just some headphones are better than others. I think the ones that I was using kind of sucked a little bit.
You sound really clear to
me.
me.
You sound good tonight, man. Yeah.
All right, sweet. I'll go into it. Well, I'll just go based off like the timeline that I had. I think today is May 29th, 2023. I'm gonna start us off with May 25th, 2023. There's a picture of Polte and RC in a cat uniform on Twitter. It was like a random poster, but the fact that those two were together and Polte replied to the tweet said, "True, go Cats," with RC and Polte next to each other. So I found that tweet interesting because it was Polte and RC next to each other, and then Polte said "True," because earlier you guys may have mentioned the good Kai's Malej, but he tries to say things like, "Hey, they're not in together" or some shit like that. But this is just a tweet where Polte kind of like confirmed like he RC's the bro. We're bros. This is true. You know what I'm saying? And then a couple days ago, you had RC on top of the cow, and then Polte says to him, "Hey, you're looking good, bro." And honestly, RC is looking really good on that tweet. And I mentioned this, I think it was on Friday evening. And I'm sure you mentioned it. He's on top of a cow, right?
Right. Yeah. I saw that. That was interesting shit, man.
Yeah, and I started to look deeper into it. Like you know how like I always talk about this shit. I always say the thing that's beautiful about RC is you look at it and you wonder who the true audience is, or we have our own biases of what's going on. Is it just he just wants to dress kind of like a matador or a bull rider, a horse rider, south of the border type look, or is there more than meets the eye? Or to feed my own ego, is he talking about Shorty the cow? Maybe
I mean,
not.
dude, like the only place that we really like, if you think about it, the only cow memes like came from here, right? And like I guess you could say the PP sub too. So it's like the cow DD like originated here, through Plur. So yeah, I don't know. It's a nice connection, I would say.
But you open that onion and shit just gets crazier, my friend.
Yeah. All right, let's hear it.
Yeah. So.
All right.
Same day. I know a lot of people don't check out his Twitter because he's not as pretty as RC.
Sure.
But there's a man named Garrett Gensler. Are you guys familiar with him?
Oh yeah.
Well, Garrett Gensler had a tweet, and he brings up a history lesson. He says on his Twitter, the same day I believe the RC tweeted his sexy ass on top of a cow. And this is Gary Gensler talking, sec dude. In 1871, Mrs. O'Leary's cow kicked over a lantern, and then it flamed a barn spread fire through the building of Chicago, and 21 acres were burned. So Gary Gensler tells a story about 1871 about Mrs. O'Leary's cow kicks a lantern at a farm. It burns 2,100 acres in Chicago. And then Gary Gensler then says after that, because he's talking about how one fucking cow could cause this much damage. He says, Finance 2 has seen fires starting in one burn that go on to engulf entire communities.
Wow.
So he uses a small fucking cow, potentially a big cow, to show like all it has to do is, you know, kick down lantern, 2,100 acres and probably in 1871 millions of dollars of property damage, and back then it's probably a fuck ton of money.
Yeah.
And then he's saying Finance 2 has seen those fires starting from one burn to go on to engulf entire communities. And then that same day, R.C. Cohen, or R.C. More professionally, he's riding on a cow. So did he essentially signifying to Gary Gensler, and based off that DD I mentioned before, that fucking closet with the book that the good ABCs mentioned multiple times, Tipping Point?
Yeah.
Is R.C. the tipping point? Is he working with Polte, Icon, Volition, the boys he knew from Dragonfly, all the fucking studs and studettes from Alex Partners to create something bigger than we could ever imagine?
Interesting, man.
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, I just looked it up. I didn't know that the Great Chicago Fire was related to this. I mean, yeah, the O'Leary cow, you know, theory is a theory behind what started the Great Chicago Fire of 1871, and I mean, that thing was huge. I mean, Chicago is what it is today because basically everything in the downtown area burned to the ground, and they brought in all of these architectures from all over the world to rebuild it. And that's why if you ever do a one of those water tours of Chicago, they tell you about all the architecture and how everything was brought in. I didn't realize it was a O'Leary cow was the hypothesis for what started it. So that's really interesting.
That's fucking crazy, man.
How big that became.
Where's the Citadel head office, boys?
Downtown Chicago.
And something that was interesting is the one time I had that one, you know, quote unquote fire is like the one time, you know, Bed Bath Beyond had like a really green day before it went another month of just going down every day too. So the more and more I look into this stuff, the more and more I see the tweets. Everything is just coming together. As you guys know, in the moon cycle, it's about what 75 and 80% moonlight. We're a few more days to that full moon. Polte is tweeting more and more and more. And the most important thing of all this is this is bigger than ourselves. I'm just zen. I just appreciate the fact that with you guys I get to go along the ride and protect animals and children at all costs. And that's DD wise, that's all I got. I also have more. I was taking a lot of notes. I know ABC mentioned it the other day about like the history of Bed Bath Beyond from like 2019 to like 2021. I wrote that down if you guys are interested, but if you want to move the chains, I understand.
Yeah. No, let's hear it, man.
Sweet. And then if as I'm talking, anybody wants to chime in, or if you guys are like, hey, dude, enough. That's cool.
No. We want to hear it, man. We want to hear it.
Okay, cool. So just going back, I went as far back as April 2019.
Okay. Oh, okay. Wow, that's a long time ago. All right.
Yeah. So on the April 22nd, 2019, Bed Bath Beyond announces transformation of board of directors, and that's when the co-founder stepped down. So if you guys were wondering when the co-founder stepped down, it was April of 2019. That's when they gave him like that crazy amount of money and cool kind of pension kind of thing just to get them the hell out of there. If you guys remember from the court system when that first picture that was on there about activists, inventors, or changing things. That's kind of like what it was talking about.
Real quick, let me call this out. Ace Ventura with the 10. We've been trying to reach you regarding your vehicle's extended warranty. Appreciate the tip, man. Appreciate the support. Go ahead, Plur.
Yeah, that reminds me. I probably got to extend mine. I just went over the 60,000 miles. So thanks, Ace Ventura.
Hell yeah, you helped Plur out, man. Appreciate it.
All right. So April 26, 2019. Yeah, just like I said in the court date, make a turnaround with activist investors. So Bed Bath Beyond is kind of like actively looking for activist investors in that time. I bet you at that time too. That's back in the day where Kramer was probably more bullish towards the company too.
Right.
That young gentleman from CNBC. All right, on May 13th, Stephen Tanaris was fired because he was considered bad for the company. And then the reason why he was fired is because they're tired of like the old way of doing things, and because Bed Bath Beyond's focus was to move into transformation and renovation in the retail sector, and that's kind of like they were slowly trying to transform into more of the BOPIS order online, pick up in store type of stuff at that point. And Stephen Tanaris, they just said, hey man, you're kind of a dinosaur, get the hell out of there. August 7th, 2019. This was like the first of like one of RC's Yahoo interviews. He said at that time when he was interviewed, he said, you know what, there's nothing in common between Chewy and Pet.com, and there's so much room to grow. He believed that utilizing Chewy, he was going to be able to surpass, Pet.com as well as I think PetSmart at the time. And then all of them kind of like motherfucked him kind of thing and didn't think he could do it. He proved them wrong, and then folks ended up buying Chewy later on. November 4th, 2019, that's the first day Mark Triton starts as CEO. His prior experience before he took CEO within Bed Bath Beyond that I didn't realize is he actually did work for he actually was tied to Nordstrom, Nike, and Timberland. So not only is he with Nordstrom now, but I didn't realize it, but he was tied to Nordstrom in the past as well. So I thought that was interesting in the history of like Triton.
So does it say how he was tied to them in the past?
Obviously I'm on my notes, not a computer. I'm sure it did, but I just try to get the wave tops. No. But that's a really good question. No, but I don't think he was CEO. I think he was like a board member of some kind.
Gotcha.
And then when they hired Mark Triton as CEO, the reason why they hired him is because they specifically they said they had special trust and confidence in him because of his success working with Target in the past. So because of his success in the board of Target, the Bed Bath Beyond was open to have Triton come over. December 13th, 2019, very, very sad day. That's when the good Teddy Cohen passed away.
Yeah.
And then moving to 2020, January 6th, 2020, RC Cohen interview about just a little less than a month of his dad unfortunately passing away.
Yeah.
It's the first talks of him taking on Amazon. Folks thought he was joking when he was talking about it. But
what was he quoted saying? Thank you.
I don't actually have the quote, but didn't he like copy the quote from actual Bezos himself, who said it in like the 90s? I don't have the quote, but
yeah, okay, I can't remember. But all right, I'm following you.
Sweet. And then on January 8th, 2020, that's like the RC Ventures itself. The LLC is created. So that was a big day. And then January 20th, January 31st, 2020, it was Bed Bath Beyond with the current management. They had like I don't know the details. I tried looking it up. I couldn't find the details on it. But in terms of like OSHA and, you know, operational hazards and risk and all that stuff, they had like a major violation. So they had to pay a ton of money into that. And that was kind of like the first sign of the management kind of sucking in terms of like the down and in operationally. And then February 18th, 2020, Bed Bath Beyond sells, because they used to own something called personalizationmall.com. And February 18, 2020, the reason why personalization.mall.com was such a big deal because it was known as Triton's first failure with the company.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so he essentially he wanted to build this personalizationmall.com to be something huge. He put like a lot of money and time into it, and then he like sold it at a huge loss.
Wow.
Yeah, and as you guys know, he eventually did like the share buybacks and stuff like that. So a lot of his Bed Bath Beyond experience was like spinning, and then you know, it's as if you bought 10 to 20,000 shares at $5, and then the stock price goes to 5 cents, and you sell everything. You know what I mean?
Right.
Buy high and sell low kind of thing. He did that with personalizationmall.com. And then April 15th, they then sold, and I don't know much about this, King Lang for $12 million. And then and on the 22nd, then they were on April 22nd with John Hartman and the COO, is they were already kind of working BOPIS, but then because now we're like in COVID-19, BOPIS became like their main effort to making money, and their only success, because if they didn't integrate BOPIS, it would have been like Tuesday morning, where they just would have probably gone bankrupt even as early as back then. And then moving forward to July 12th to 15th, Newell trademarks. So this is like Bed Bath Beyond actually starts receiving Newell trademarked items for towels and blankets and things of that nature. And then I don't know if you guys see in the chat, they're saying there's a new docket.
Yeah, I just posted that. Docket 492.
Travis, can you get that up for us? Yeah,
I'm working on it. I'm only seeing 490.
Refresh the page.
I'm clicking. I'm all over it, man.
Docket 492 talking about the sale? No shit.
I'm only seeing 490 on my end, unfortunately. I'm on Kroll, unless somebody else has a link.
As you guys are looking at, I'll still talk about the history, and then I'll call a timeout or what have you. August 4th, 2020, RC article on his next side hustle. But this is a quote from RC. "Just as important as making money with a side business is saving. Only spend what is left after saving." And then he says, "The future is online and American, and we need Americans to go back to work." And then RC also says the future is cloud technology. So
wow,
when it comes to strategic, priorities, it's Americans working, cloud technology, and then only spend what you save.
Right.
Which means a lot to me, because in terms of leverage and things like that, I've had the option through trading this stock to use leverage, and I've never done it. I've always been the paycheck kind of guy with this, or whatever's in the bank account. You know what I mean? And then August 12th, this is Teddy.com. It changes from a generic landing page so Teddy.com started in 2017. Yeah. So obviously RC's had this in the works for a while. But on August 12th, 2020, it changes from a generic landing page to an affiliate style with baby merchandise and like a blog. And during that time is when it kind of when people used the Wayback Machine, that's when they saw like Bed Bath Beyond looking kind of stuff on it. And then on that same day too, when they changed Teddy.com to like an actual website instead of like the GeoSites bullshit, whatever they had, that landing page. Dragonfly, there was a Dragonfly Sec Forum D. And the three most important names on that was Ryan Cohen, Blake Day, and Larry Chang.
Okay.
So that's when the fearsome threesome like kind of came together with their Form D. And then on August 24th, Trian sells a Bed Bath Beyond big distribution center in Georgia. And then on the 28th, it was 2020, August 28th, 2020. That's when RC Ventures bought into GME the first time. And I think, people like PBCs and folks that have been in the GME play forever probably recognize that day. You said he bought in on what, $15 or something like that originally, even with GME?
RC?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was $15.
Anybody
Yeah,
else
that was,
403
go ahead.
error on Kroll? Because I'm getting a 403 error anytime I try to access the docket right now. Are we DDoSing the web page?
Everyone's trying to pull it up right now.
Yeah, it's
I mean, they very well could
403
be.
people.
No, it's a 403 error. Like,
Well, that's what I'm saying. There's 403 people in here right now, so maybe they're all trying to slam the website.
that could be a coincidence.
And then September.
All right, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Plur. My
Oh
bad.
yeah, go ahead as you guys figure out the technical difficulties there. Hey, to move the chains in the chat, he says Plur telling the history of mankind. I appreciate that, man. Sometimes you wonder if when you're talking here, if people really give a shit or not. So if at least one person does, I appreciate it. But September 17th, 2020, Teddy.com filed by Teddy Publishing specifically.
Yes.
And then it became live for the first time June 1st, 2021. And then September 20th, 2020 was a very sad day for me. I was like, I lived in North Carolina at the time.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite stores was Tuesday Morning, and that store became bankrupt. So in Tuesday Morning, very similar to Bed Bath Beyond. I love both the stores. I really love Tuesday Morning, but COVID fucking killed Tuesday Morning, and Tuesday Morning suffered the short attacks that before even society and or the apes have even become what we are today. You know what I mean? So it didn't even have a prayer. It's just like getting rocketed, getting shot, getting attacked, and zero protection whatsoever. It was a great story though.
Let me read this off here. Not Evil Lions with the membership for the PP sub. Appreciate the support. Says, all right, guys, can I get your honest opinions on DRSing for Bed Bath Q? So much controversy over it. Curious to see what you guys think. I think you should do whatever you want, man. Personally, I don't plan to DRS. As of right now, I think like the site's down anyways. I don't plan to do it as of now. So, I mean, if I plan to hold like longer term, seeing what kind of deal we get, absolutely. But we'll see what happens, man. But that's my opinion. Do you guys want to answer any questions on DRS? Are you guys personally DRS or what?
Not with Bed Bath & Beyond. But,
all right, sounds good.
I do have GME DRS. Actually, I'm almost 100% with.
This is why I switched to Shopify. Shopify made it really easy for me to shift everything over and hit the ground running. I was easily able to migrate my products and all of my customer information over. We would not be able to go on the road without a platform that we can rely on. Start your free trial with Shopify today.
GME. But yeah, with AST having their issues until they get those resolved, I'm on the fence.
All right.
Yeah. Go ahead, ABC.
I'm just saying I'm holding off too. I mean, ultimately I will DRS some for BBBY because I'm going to be on a long-term play on this. But right now, up in Canada, there's no way I'm going to wait 1 to 2 weeks for that to happen, especially at this time.
Yeah. Awesome. Plur, what's your answer on DRS? Are you DRS'd or no?
I am not DRS. But
I mean, if anyone wants to do it, I have nothing against it. You know, I don't plan to do it myself. You know, I've said it since the start of from the show, 5 months ago. I'm not DRS. Don't plan to do it, but love people who support it, man. So yeah.
Same.
the thing I was gonna say to it though is like at home I'm making like a scrapbook of my memories of the stock and different things. You know, like the bond deal. Me originally buying at $24, like having a screenshot of that. My average is way under $1 now, but it's just like little pieces of history, different people you meet in the Discords. But I'll be honest, like for my scrapbook, if I knew if I DRS'd, my name was gonna be in that docket, I would have DRS'd just for the history, and that's it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there you go. You heard it from Plur.
Yeah, I would have done the same. That would have been great to have my name on the court documents and be like, yo, that's me.
Yeah.
I know, it's like a piece of history, man.
Yeah.
Okay. A guy in our Discord, Sack, says he's not seeing docket 492. So not sure. I mean, unless they dropped 491 and then 492, but
I'm still in it. I finally got through. I'm not getting a 403 error anymore, but I'm still only seeing 490. I don't.
All right, so must be nothing then. Plurk, please continue with the DD, man. I've been enjoying it thus far. I enjoyed some tacos off camera, man, during the DD, and I absolutely enjoy it, man. So let's hear it.
Street tacos, onions, no onions, avocado.
Yes, and you know how they do the cilantro and the onions and shit.
Yeah,
like, that's how you know you got like a legit street taco. Love to hear it.
Lime,
Delicious,
lemon,
man. Yes.
red sauce, green sauce.
Oh man, the green one is always the spiciest too.
Yeah. You're gonna pay for it later, my man.
All right, let's hear it, Plur.
All right. So oh yeah, this one was interesting to me. October 13th, 2020, Bed Bath & Beyond sells Christmas tree and linen holdings for $250 million. So I guess they held up. I didn't realize how many like side hustles Bed Bath & Beyond like sold during the Triton area, but Christmas trees and linen holdings for $250 million. And then October 28th, Bed Bath & Beyond launches 1 billion. Oh, this is the first time. October 28th, Bed Bath & Beyond launches 1 billion 3-year share buyback plan.
Right.
And that
I
go ahead.
That. No, I was just gonna say I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, and that will follow Triton and his legacy probably with us for all time.
Right.
And then on November 16th, 2020, after RC bought the shares prior to that, that's when he actually wrote his first letter to the GME board, which was interesting. And then in December 2020, Ryan Cohen, I guess he had a Ryan Tack or Ryan-Cohen.com. That shut down. And then on that same time frame, Bed Bath & Beyond sold Cost Plus and World Market. So I don't know if any folks shop at Cost Plus. I shop at World Market all the time still, but amazing, fun stores to go in with the wife and buy like exotic kind of food and rugs and chairs and stuff like that. So trying, he another big thing, another freaking money maker. He just sold for the easy money. And then I think history wise, I was gonna do more, but I was hanging out with the wife at the time. So like 2021 and beyond, I'll have to hit you guys up another time. And that's where things like get more and more interesting. But thanks for allowing me to share just like 2019 to 2020.